Welcome back, everybody. I want to welcome you to the podcast. This is Jasmine. I'm Jasmine, and today we're going to be talking about a subject that I could get into for hours, but we're going to try to keep it at 20 minutes. This is working in a restaurant. All my fellow restaurant workers out there, or previous restaurant workers, you know what I'm talking about. This is going to be so relatable for you because we were in, or if you're still working there, in the same boat. I promise. I understand you. I'm here to share my experience about what it's like working in a restaurant. I'm not going to say the restaurant I worked at, but by the title of the episode, you could probably guess, and if not, then you probably have never been there. So if not, it's fine. I don't know which one I worked at, but just know it's awful. It's honestly a terrible experience. I feel so bad for anybody who has that kind of job right now, especially in a time that we're in with this whole coronavirus. Especially with that, it's probably a lot more worse. I no longer work at this restaurant, but I did for about a solid, how long was it? Probably a solid 8 months. I don't even know. It was under a year because when I got the job, I told myself, I will not be at this restaurant for over a year. And I kept my promise to myself. So yeah, it was probably a solid 8 months. And I have to tell you, it was one of the strangest, not strange, but it was one of the worst working experiences I've ever had. And honestly, I have to say that the worst part about the job is the customers and the manager. Now, if you have a good manager, you're lucky, because if you have a good manager, you have nothing to worry about. But if you had a manager like mine, child, I feel you. I understand how bad it can be if your boss, if your manager, whoever is a menace. So yes, definitely between the customers being the worst part and the manager being the worst part. But prior to this job, I had been working with my parents because they have their own businesses, quite a few. So I pretty much just helped them out, did that, worked for them, still made good money. So that's the only other experience that I had before. And I can tell you, after I had to go in for that interview, this regular job, 9 to 5 stuff, bruh, I was so over it. I was like, never again. I quit. I didn't get fired. I didn't give 2 weeks notice. I just straight up quit. Don't take my advice from that, because, you know, if you plan on getting another job, maybe you should give it 2 weeks notice. But me personally, I was like, yeah, I'm done. I can't deal with this no more. I'm out. I literally texted. It wasn't even the manager or the main dude, the dude who hired me. It wasn't even him. It was this other woman. She was also a manager. I feel like they were about equal in like positions. But yeah, I just texted her one day after I got off work. I was like, yeah, I can't do this no more. I'm just done. I'm not working here. That's it. Came in the next day, gave her a little note, a friendly hug. You're gonna be missed. Probably not, but okay. And I did. That's my story. I don't recommend doing it like that, but that's just me. I was fed up. I hated it. I would never in my life want to get another job like that again. And that's what I'm actually working towards. I'm working towards never, ever having to go in for another job interview ever in my life. That's how much I hated it. That was the one and only job I've ever had, like in a job where you had to apply, fill out applications and stuff like that. Whew. Anyway, I'm going to be out of breath because this is something I can just go on and on about. This is, oh God. Okay. So let's actually get into it now, apart from my, me quitting. But yeah, I feel like so many people are in these jobs because they are the most accessible jobs. Whenever you look up on Google, look up on Indeed or LinkedIn or wherever you go to find jobs, these are the most accessible jobs where they'll pretty much take anybody they can get. I know for sure Chipotle takes anybody they can get because I've heard that firsthand from 2 people who I know who've worked at Chipotle's. So yeah, but they will take anybody they can get. They will try to pay you as least amount as they can. So I feel like that's why so many people do end up with restaurant jobs, because it's so much harder to get anything else, say something in like a corporate job. Like you have to have some kind of background or a degree or something for these types of companies to hire you. Honestly, for working in a restaurant, you don't even have to graduate high school. There's people I knew there who ex-felons or felon. I knew a felon who worked there. I knew I wouldn't say drug addict, but there is somebody who was actually not one person. It was multiple people who were heavily into drugs. And this type of restaurant that I did work in, by the title, if you don't know what restaurant it is, just look up the title of the video and you'll see which restaurant it is, but I'm not going to personally say it. You'll see that it's a restaurant not known for that. It's a Christian, very whatever, air quotes, because that's the most fakest stuff I've ever heard. But they all are separately owned and privately owned and operated, so it makes sense. But you know, they'll really hire anybody. Like I said, if you've been in jail, cool. You know, if you smoke a lot of weed, if you do crack, if you do heroin, cool. They're going to hire you because they honestly don't care as long as they have somebody there to fill in your gap. That's all that matters. So yeah, I feel like that's why so many people do have those types of jobs. And I do feel very sorry for y'all because it's truly awful. And they don't pay you enough. They really don't. I'll share, I don't really care. I personally got paid $10 an hour. And when I did the interview and asked for that, they seemed shocked. They're like, oh my God, like that's a high number. Like, just don't tell nobody else. It's between you and me. I was like, bro, it's $10. If y'all don't get y'all's act together, it's $10. That's not something you should be bragging about. It's literally $10. That's not much. Like, it's not something that should be kept between you and me. No. It's $10. Like, come on now. It's crazy because I know some people. I go on McDonald's when I used to go on McDonald's. Sometimes I see that the now hiring sign, and they start you at like, what do they start you out at? Something like 8 or 9, and they're like, oh, but you can get like a 25-cent raise. What are these restaurants thinking? You know how much money they make? The job I worked, sometimes I would see, you know, how much money they made. It was a crazy amount. And I was like, I get paid $10 an hour. I would be like cashier, see people come through, order after order. You know, these people order like $20 of food, $30 of food, even sometimes up to like $60 to $100 of food. One time I saw this customer come in, order $1,000 worth of food, and I was like, wow. So this company just got paid $1,000, this one transaction, and this whole hour I've been working, I just only got 10 of that. 10 of that. I was like, nah, this ain't finna work. Nope. So, you know, that's the whole reason, another reason why I did quit. I was just like, I'm tired of making money for somebody else, beating myself up, you know, physically it was just awful. Putting your body through that, it's not worth it. So that's another reason why I did quit. The physical side is honestly just terrible. It's like I came home with my feet swollen. It's just out in the heat sometimes for multiple hours. Sometimes I would be out in the rain, sweeping a parking lot, picking coins off of the ground, just all of that stuff. Just straight up heat. My face was 2 different colors because, you know, wearing face mask and being in the sun, you know, you're gonna get an uneven tan. So my face was literally 2 different colors. That's just a few of the things. Being on my hands and knees to scrub chair legs. The legs of chairs on a Saturday. On a Saturday. Bro, when I tell you I wanted to fight somebody and smack somebody, I really did. But at that point, I held out for like probably 4 more months, I think it was, since then. Ooh, they really tested me. They tested me a lot over there. It was, when I say it was bad, please, just take my advice. It was bad. I don't recommend these types of jobs for anybody. Go get a job at like T-Mobile or something where you do absolutely nothing all day. You just sit there and tell people about phones. Just don't be out here sweeping parking lots in the rain like I did. And people driving by and saying, oh, you shouldn't be doing this. You know, you should not be out here in the rain. I'm like, I know I shouldn't, okay? But I have to be. It's pretty much, it's just really crazy. Customers are also very entitled, especially at this specific restaurant. People just think like you're nice just because you want to be. No, I'm nice because I have to be. Just because I'm nice doesn't mean I want you, doesn't mean I'm actually being nice right now. It means I have to be nice, or I know you're going to tell the boss, which later is going to get me to be, in a situation where I don't want to be in, because while I was there, I had several talks, They coming up to me, be like, yeah, you're not doing your job good enough. Is something wrong with you? All these different things. So it's not us always being nice. And these customers are very entitled, just so you know. Don't be that entitled customer. Please don't be that person. There are so many people who work fast food restaurants who are on social media platforms telling people, be nice to us, don't be these people, don't be rude, don't do this stuff. It's like, just listen to us, because honestly, it's just such a hard job, and you're only getting paid $10 for a whole hour, 60 minutes of your work, when they've made like $3,000 or $10,000 already right in that hour that you only got 10. Anyway, I'm gonna probably make so many people quit their jobs after this recording. That's not what I'm trying to do, but I do think it is an awful job. Just 9-to-5 jobs are just awful. Everybody knows that. So pretty much that's it for everybody else. But for me, my personal experience, I want to speak a little bit more on that. Like, we all know the customers. We all know bosses are bad. We all know coworkers are hit or miss. So I want to say the rest of my experience, a lot of it is negatives, because there's not too many positives when you do work in a restaurant. Besides, some of your coworkers are good. Some of them will check up on you. Some of them will be like, how you doing? Are you okay? Sometimes it's fun at times. Sometimes it's not. Yeah, I don't really know any other pros. That's bad. Anyway, so let me just say some stuff that would get me going, because so y'all can follow this. If y'all ever go to fast food restaurants, take from this. Take from what you're hearing right now, okay? Because when people come up to the speaker, you turn your little headset on, somebody pulls up, and I'm like, can I get your name? And they say, yeah, I want a number 2. Bruh, I'll be putting that on your name sometimes. If I ask, can I get your name? And you say, yeah, I want a number 2, I want a number 1, this on the side. I'm like, so when I have to go to put your name in on the screen, your name is, can I get a number 2? Or your name is anything that, if you don't respond to a question we ask, that's your name. Like, so yeah, that's something that was very annoying. Like, all I'm asking is for your name. I'm not asking you to say the number of pi, or I'm not asking you to solve a math equation. All I'm asking is for your name. And people, when sometimes I'd ask for their names and be like, I'm like, this person really don't know their name right now. You can choose any name you want. You can be Princess. You could be, Cinderella. I don't care what your name is. I just need something to put in to my screen so that they know who you are when you get to the thing to get your food. I don't want your name to be a number 2, okay? I just don't. Literally, if you can't think of your real name, you're sitting there like, John. No, just tell me something off the top of your head. If your name is Tesla, I will put Tesla in there. I do not care what your name is. So yeah, pretty much, y'all, just, if they ask for your name, just tell them your name. If you don't know your name, I don't know how you don't know your name. You've had that name your whole life, but that's something that got everybody in the restaurant heated. It wasn't even just me, it was everybody. People was even starting to put like rappers' names, because nobody would tell us their name. Sometimes you pull up, your name would be Chris Brown. Sometimes you pull up, your name would be Gunna. Even if a grandma pulls up, your name is Gunna if you didn't tell us your name. So yeah, another thing, number 2, is when people come up. Okay, I live in Texas, so we're kind of bordering Mexico. It makes sense. But people come up to the speaker and y'all start speaking Spanish. The menu, guess what it's in? It's in English. Why are you speaking Spanish to me? I understand that the United States does not have an official language, but please, if the menu board is in English, speak English to me. And when you ask me, do you speak Spanish? I will say no, because guess what? I don't speak Spanish. I don't want to speak Spanish, and even though I know some Spanish, I'm still going to speak English to you because the menu is in English. Now, if you're lucky and you get somebody who speaks Spanish, okay, that's fine, but if you come up to me and you're like, do you speak Spanish? No, I don't. Can you get somebody over here who speaks Spanish? No, I can't. The menu is in English. I have to, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing my job. I just need you to say uno, dos, whichever number you want. Simple as that. It's like people don't come up and start speaking Portuguese and expect me to know Portuguese. People don't come up speaking French or, you know, any of these other languages. People just expect everybody to know Spanish. Like, no, I don't. It's not that hard. You know, if I went to France, I wouldn't expect people to come and go out of the way and speak English for me. It's just that simple, you know? It's like, sometimes it's very disrespectful in my eyes. I don't know about anybody else, but it is very disrespectful. Let's talk about this one though. This one is such a big one. I heard so many people get angry with this one, so many fast food workers, but when people pull up to the speaker, right when they get to they're like, hello, hello, hello. And each time you don't answer, that hello is gonna get stronger. And whenever somebody does this to me, actually anybody that worked there, I can pretty much speak for them too, because lots of times when you're on headset, you have somebody next to you. Anytime anybody comes up and says hello, we will wait probably like 10 seconds longer until we answer you. If you come up and say hello, that's not gonna work. It doesn't get you any faster service as if you were to just sit there and wait for us. We hear the ding, we hear you're there. If we're doing something, give us like 3 seconds. But if you pull up and say hello, we're literally gonna wait 10 to 15 seconds longer to answer you. I've had somebody drop off because of that. They sat there and they said hello, hello in such a rude way also. It's so rude. And I was like, you know what? I'm not answering this until I get done with what I was doing. I'm not answering this. This person literally pulls off and goes to the window and is like, yeah, I couldn't get anybody to answer me back there. It's like it had been 5 seconds and this dude was already like over it. So just make sure to just wait. They hear that you're there at the speaker. You don't need to say hello. We know you're there. Another thing is, you know how drive-through lines during lunch, maybe if you go out 1 a.m, they're all the way backed up. We've all been through this. They're all the way backed up. You get to the order thing. You get to the speaker. Or the person comes to you if you're at In-N-Out or something. And you don't know what you want. You're like, oh, I gotta see the menu. Or, oh, let me ask all of my 6 kids in the back what they want. Because the whole time we was waiting in the line for 15 minutes, I did not figure out what I wanted to eat. So now when I get to you, I'm gonna hold the rest of the line up because I couldn't decide in that 15 minutes I was waiting. Please make up your mind. You have a phone. The phone has a menu. If you've been there before, you know what we have. You know, just know what you want. Don't wait and be like, actually, I need to see the menu. Like, no, just no. One more thing is, I actually have pretty much a big list written down, but you know, this episode is going to be really long if I keep going. So the last thing that is annoying that people would do is thinking that we cared when they would say they're not going to come back. If you say, oh, this is trash, or oh, your food is awful, or oh, you don't have this, so I'm going to get mad at you. Oh, I'm never coming back here. I'm never spending $1 here. Let me just let you in on something. We do not care. We don't care if you're gonna come back and eat here or not, because guess what? Regardless, we're gonna get paid and it's not our company. Maybe the boss is gonna care, but we as employees who are getting paid less than $10 an hour, we do not care if you come back and eat here or not, because guess what? There's still gonna be a very long line here and we're still gonna have jobs because, you know, it's not affecting us whether or not you eat there. So I feel like people need to stop arguing with us or screaming at people saying, oh, this is wrong, that's wrong, I'm never coming here again, because generally it's not our company, it's not our money, we don't care. So yeah, that's pretty much all the things that annoyed me. I did want to get into something else about restaurants, but I feel like this is going to be a little bit too long. I did want to get into how some of the food is made. It's probably not made how you guys think it is. You know, I always love to hear if somebody's worked at a restaurant, like how the food is made, because if I go there, I want to know how it's made, if I should eat there again. I did want to get into that, but I can save that for a future episode, so this one's not like 30 minutes long. So pretty much all I want to say to wrap this up is be nice to the workers. We are underpaid and we are tired. So yes, we'll have attitudes sometimes. be nice. Just try to be as nice as you can. Now, if somebody's giving you attitude and like cussing you out, I understand. But most of the time, if we're like if we're a little sluggish, if we're a little slow, if just anything, we're tired. We've been working for like 8-hour, 9-hour shifts sometimes, so we might be a little, not up to par sometimes. And just know what you want when you go out to eat. Don't hold up the line once you've been in it for 15 minutes. And yeah, pretty much just always just please be nice and do not say hello into the speaker. That's pretty much all I want to say. Whew. Wow, this episode has got me sweating. That's how you know it's a good episode. But that's pretty much going to wrap this one up. I would definitely, for sure, 100% love to hear from anybody who's worked in a restaurant before. So you can go ahead and use the email or comments if you're on YouTube. I don't know which one to send that in, but that would be nice to hear from. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for this episode. Next week's episode is going to be about toxic masculinity. So if you're into that, make sure you come back and listen. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. This is Yours and Mine. I'm Jasmine, and thanks for listening.